am seriously perplexed at the way the rise and fall of popularity manifests. It seems that once humble people get swallowed by hordes of sexually frustrated, masculine yet female adolescents. How outstanding is it that some people can slowly make you come to the revelation that human emotion can be efficiently capitalized on. Also, shout out to consumer capitalism for keeping me from wallowing in my own shit. Well, I digress. Today I'm talking about John Green, which I think you can tell from the title. Also, kidlings, I'm sorry for the absence of videos, just working into my new schedule. In fact, to start this off, I think I'm gonna do a little story. Now, in year 6 in 2014, I experienced what is commonly known as pain. And inside of this pain included hysteria over John Green. A mass hysteria, I would go as far to say. This mass hysteria involved a group of girls in my class. And during studying metaphors in my class in year 6, one of the students put up their hands, and all of the students in that group said it in unison. And it was a quote from one of John Green's stories. I believe it was, "You put the killing thing in between your teeth, but you don't let it kill you." And I mean, any reasonable person would realize that this simply isn't a metaphor. It's mystifying, really. I mean, even John Green fans, I think, would struggle to justify such a thing. But hell, what do I know? John Green's immensely popular. Even though it seems like all of his literature is boring drizzle and all of his YouTube videos have already been said a million times. In fact, I would say this is the extent quite a lot. I mean, how many times have you seen John Green go on and on and on about a subject which everybody already agrees on? Not only this, but half of the information he spreads, and no, not literally, I would have an estimate of something like 15% of the information he spreads, is false. In a video covering up another discrepancy which he made, called "Is the Gender Pay Gap Real?", he explains how women make 4 to 8% less than men if you look at the statistics, and that statistic is correct, but it is in fact not because of gender discrimination. If this was the case, then, I mean, it would seem like, Jesus fucking Christ, it would defy all logic, all law too, considering how many equal pay acts have been inputted throughout history. But quite obviously, this isn't the case. In fact, the case is that men, as expected, take more risks and are more confrontational, which is just a biological fact. And this means that they confront their bosses more about their pay, and I presume also their hours. This means, like one might statistically expect, men make 4 to 8% more money than women. But hell, I wouldn't blame you if you don't believe me, so I'll cite a better source in the description, which is also a YouTube video. Sorry for going off topic here, folks, but I do that sometimes. But at least it's better than John Green, who created an entire new race. A race somehow worse than the baby boomers in their actions directly. The offspring of the baby boomers, aka the millennials. I personally am quite a late millennial. I am classified as Generation Z, and I would say that overall I am the very edge of millennials, if not the very start of Generation the new generation, the coolest one. Millennials are scum, but baby boomers are worse. And millennials are shaped by people like John Green, who, when their parents get divorced, have to look to the better light. The better light of that is being John Green. John Green seems to always give unrealistic expectations for these people. Expectations of love and happiness at a young age, which simply isn't the case. How many times have you seen these people actually find love and happiness? Never, because they're too busy on Tumblr and reading, and they're not even reading on fucking books, they're reading on Kindles, and Kindles are just about worse than books in every way. And on their Kindles they read John Green books, they read Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief at 11, and they move on to The Fault in Our Stars at 12, and then they move on to Paper Towns at 13. And then by the age of 15, they spend all their time on Tumblr crying about how there are more than 2 genders, when really, we all know that there are way less than 2 genders. That was, of course, a joke. There are pretty much 2 genders. These 2 genders consist of male and female. However, people like John Green and other authors and role models of millennials have perpetrated the lie that there are more than 2 genders, which simply isn't the case. I mean, do what you want with the two genders, be, I guess, both, or I guess neither, and just not assigned with either, but there is no third gender. It makes no sense. You can be one or the other sex. It's like saying that a gender is an identity. You can't have that. It just makes no sense. It fucks up our systems. You can't just mark other on your birth certificate. What are you? What are you classified as? Are you male or female in sex? Because people have different characteristics. I mean, this is just so brutally irritating. And they act so important when they say that they are the other gender. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was all for attention seeking. In fact, I'm fairly convinced that it is. But sadly enough, the millennial race loves to attention seek, and the fathers of the millennial race, or I mean, not literal fathers, because their fathers all abandoned them, and their mothers were left single to work, and so never gave the millennials any love or care. But, you know, there are other fathers, people like John Green and whoever the fuck authored Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief and Tumblr and Dan from Dan Is Not on Fire. Those fathers of the millennial race, those kind of fathers really shaped them into people. Because all the millennials like to do is blindly follow their role models. I don't think they ever think that what other people are saying is wrong, and I don't think I ever see them make a witty remark or make a funny joke, because they're so in order. And by rebelling, they are doing quite the opposite. Anti-rebelling, just following the rest of their race. By rebelling, they are doing exactly what the rest of their race thinks is rebelling. And it just ends up in the same position, working at McDonald's. So, in conclusion, John Green has assisted in the breeding of an entire new race, possibly the worst race yet, and not a literal race, I mean a figurative race, and more of a group of people, because there are a ton of nice millennials. In conclusion, John Green assisted in the creation of possibly the most ignorant and annoying race yet. He was the daddy of many sad, uncomfortable, and insecure teenagers who just resulted in being more sad, insecure, and shitty because of their expectations never being met because of the John Green books. Because women, there is no perfect man, and men, there is no perfect women. There is only a partner which you can live with and just tolerate, and you won't even realize it, but they will be your perfect partner. But I'll tell you who certainly will never find that perfect partner: John Green. What a fucking joke. See you later, folks. That's a wrap.